Welcome to an introduction to social learning theory. This was a major innovation in the development of learning theories as it combined features of operant conditioning and cognitive information processing. My name is Bill Hewitt, and I'm Professor Emeritus at Valdosta State University and Adjunct Professor at Capella University. The presentation is narrated by Jeff Hewitt, who is helping me produce these videos.
In the early 20th century, American psychology was dominated by the behavioral theories of John Watson, Edward Thorndike, and B.F. Skinner. These theorists focused on how external stimuli were connected to overt behavior. By the middle of the 20th century, the cognitive theories of George Miller, Benjamin Bloom, and Ulrich Neisser also became important with a focus on the structure and function of cognitive processes. There was a constant battle among paradigms with literature support for each of these. Into this mix entered Albert Bandura and his version of social learning theory, which was also labeled as observational learning. Bandura said that the argument over whether internal or external factors were more important for human learning missed a basic point, because empirical evidence showed that both internal and external factors were important. His social learning theory had 4 steps. Attention, at which point an external stimulus was perceived and attended to by the individual. Retention, at which point what was observed and attended to had been placed in memory. These are steps associated with an information processing approach to learning that focused on internal factors. The third point was reproduction, at which point what was observed is reproduced in observable behavior. And finally, a 4th step of motivation, where external consequences were provided with the intention to either increase or decrease the frequency of the reproduced behavior. These 2 steps are associated with the operant conditioning approach to learning that focused on external factors associated with learning. Some of the most famous of his research studies are referred to as the Bobo doll experiments. In a series of experimental conditions, children were placed in a large room with toys, one of which was a Bobo doll that children often hit. An adult entered the room and hit and kicked and punched the Bobo doll. For some conditions, then the adult left the room. In a second condition, the adult was rewarded for the aggressive behavior, and in a third condition, the adult was punished. The aggressive acts of children were then observed in each of these conditions. Bandura found that when no consequences were provided, and when the adult was rewarded, the children's behavior was essentially equivalent. However, when the adult was punished, the children showed fewer imitated responses, with the girl's behavior decreasing dramatically. Bandura labeled this learning as vicarious learnings because the children changed the frequency of their aggressive behaviors based on their observation of consequences applied to someone else's behavior. Bandura also completed a number of studies on children's behavior after they watched both aggressive and non-aggressive models. Notice that the imitated behaviors for watching human beings on film increased over those when children watched real-life aggressive behavior, and, in both cases, aggressive behavior was more frequent than when no aggressive behavior was observed. Also, after watching aggressive behavior in cartoons, which my siblings and I were doing on Saturday mornings, children displayed even more aggressive behavior. Fortunately, children who observed a non-aggressive model showed fewer aggression than in all other conditions. Many parents in the 70s and 80s changed the viewing habits of their children when these results were popularized.